welcome to the Casual Commons, where we are all common people, casually just trying to make a living in this world, goddamn. So I have been planning like a lengthier, more well thought out video, but I've just been playing a lot of video games, so I have not gone around to like scripting it in full. I'm like halfway there, or even like filming the voiceover part. So I was like, it's a Saturday morning, I'm going over to my friend's place for a small little brunch later, and I thought might as well film like just a free form, maybe not as well edited, not as lengthy video on finance. I know, well, I am drinking later, so maybe I should have filmed this after, but I'm not drinking right now. I'll have some mimosas later, but we're there in spirit. I wanted to talk about why I personally don't invest in individual stocks. And there are like many reasons why, well, I feel like that is biased. There are multiple reasons why I don't invest in individual stocks. And, I'm not saying you should follow my methodology because it's your money, do whatever you want with it. But with all of like the craziness with GameStop and like AMC and Nokia happening in the past like few weeks, I just wanted to, I guess, document this. Maybe like I'll look back on this and be like, damn, if you had invested in X stock, then you would have been rich by now. But I think the number one thing for me is like, I don't even know how to do quantitative analysis. I don't know how to look into each company's like balance sheet and understand why they're a good company or a bad company. I don't know why. Well, I guess I do know because I did take finance and like I did have a few courses in it, but I don't know enough to like critically think about why having more debt is necessarily like good or bad for each company. And I don't know how to compare two companies together in the same industry on why like I should pick one over the other. So because I don't know how to do all of that analysis, I don't feel comfortable in letting myself buy into a singular stock. And I just leave that up to the professionals. So that ain't me. I'll let other people do that, and like they can lose their money because better theirs than mine. The next reason why I don't invest in singular stocks is I have a lower risk tolerance. So for some context, I am not rich. I came from a working class family. So I do not want the money that I put in the time and effort to make to just like lose its value overnight. And I feel like with singular stocks, that can really happen, right? You get emotionally attached to, let's say, not GameStop, let's say Riot, because I've been playing a lot of like Valorant. Riot Games, you buy some stocks into them. I don't know if they're public, but anyway, this is an example. You play a lot of League of Legends, Valorant, and you like them, so you buy some stocks and they start going up and it's like, great, like I love this, like I made a good investment, and then they start going down. Do you sell or do you hold out because this might be like just a tiny dip? Do you think they'll go back up again? So like if you hold on and they go down, you lose all your money. And then if you sell while it's going down and it goes back up, you lose out on the money you could have made. So I don't think I have the stomach to deal with that either way. So like if I lost money that I put in, that would suck, and I would think about that forever. If I lost money on the way up by not investing more or like by selling my stock too early, then I would still shoot myself in the foot. So I don't know, I just feel like I don't have enough of a risk tolerance to justify getting into all of that. I'm more of a slow and steady player. I invest in ETFs, and we'll talk more about that later in the video, but I'm not looking for like to be an overnight millionaire, because I feel like that's 1 in a million chance, and a lot of people just don't, like, it doesn't happen for a lot of people. More people lose out than more people win, but like you don't see the losers because they're not gonna like post about it, The next reason is I think putting money into individual stocks means that you're trading, like I distinguish this in my mind. I think there's a difference between trading and investing. I think investing is more of a long-term thing and trading is more of a short-term thing. It doesn't have to just be like day trading. I think of, like if you buy a stock early into the summer because like at the end of summer, like it'll go bad. I feel like that's more of a trading thing because you're trying to time when it's best to buy or sell a stock. So you're constantly watching like the price fluctuations, you're trying to time, and you're like, okay, if it hits this number, I'm going to sell it. So for me, I don't have the stomach for that. I don't know how I would do that. I don't know the methodology. I don't know the approaches. Even if I did, a lot of people lose out on trading So you can't beat machines, you can't beat institutionalized trading bots, and they've like literally optimized their people. So they hire PhDs and their software, software and their hardware to basically like reduce as much latency as possible when trading. And they have AI bots that you don't have. And the fact that they do all these things and a lot of them still lose out, what makes you think like you would be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would even come close to beating out an institutionalized investor or trader. So I, keep it simple. Oh, also like I do check my portfolio often, but I feel like if I were to invest in individual stocks, I would be checking it all the time. I don't think that's healthy. I have a full-time job. Like, I don't need another job to just like check the prices and make sense of those prices, right? Like, my investments, if they go up, they go up. If they go down, they go down. I believe that my investments will generally go up through or to my retirement. So I'm not worried if something dips down in the present time, because I believe they'll consistently go up in the future. So I'm not worried about that. If I had individual stocks and it dipped down, I would be concerned about, is this thing going out of business? Is the industry like dying? What's going on? Like, has someone in the company made a bad financial decision that's causing the stock price to like plummet? I think all those things are just too much to think about, and I don't have the mental energy to do so. So like, I heavily believe and subscribe to like minimalism. And not only does it come to minimalism in the stuff that you have, it's also the thoughts that you have, or like the choices you have to make, because at the end of the day, like, if you make too many choices, you're just going to get decision fatigue. You won't be able to perform well for like your other tasks and like responsibilities. So I have a 40-hour-a-week job, and I will invest my mental energy into that. And then I have hobbies like doing YouTube or playing video games. I will invest mental energy into that. And I do not want to invest mental energy into like something that could lose me money if I don't do it right. And then final thing is not necessarily like a con to individual stocks, but more of like a pro to an ETF, or like a more diversified approach, where when I buy an ETF, I'm buying many stocks. So like, if one falls out, then, or like if one goes out of business in that whole portfolio, yeah, you might take a dip for a little bit, but it'll rebalance itself. Whereas if a company goes out, or like if one of your stocks goes out of business and goes to zero, you can't recover that necessarily. Well, I guess you can, but like, as a unsophisticated retail investor, I wouldn't have the tools. I wouldn't buy into the tools to be able to recover my losses. So I just think it's better to invest in like a ETF or a mutual fund or a portfolio that has, 50 different stocks, and just look for like a slow increase in price that way. So in my other videos, I talk a lot about being invested into basically everything. I buy the total stock market. I buy all these ETFs that basically just track the entire market or the top 500 companies. So my belief with that is the price should increase by the time I retire, so that when I do need the money, I can sell it at a higher price than when I bought it in like 2018, 2019, 2020. So for me, I consider that kind of like a guaranteed return, even though it's not. But if the whole market crashes by the time I retire, there are bigger issues to worry about, because there's planets probably burning. We're probably getting attacked by aliens. Like, if the market doesn't continue to at least be stable, then I have bigger issues to worry about than my retirement. So I also think everyone should have like a risky play, or like they should have play money. For some people, that is putting money into like individual stocks, which is fine. People say allocate 5%, 10% to put into something risky. If you win, you win. If you lose, it's only 5 to 10%. Like, it's not that much, and you learn your lesson in a sense. So for me, my risky play is not to invest in Tesla or like Peloton or anything like that's kind of on the rise right now. My strategy is to look for ETFs in sectors that don't mirror the total stock market. So as in, like, my main portfolio is full of companies in the top 500, or basically all of the companies that exist that are publicly traded. But I take some money and put it into things that I think will grow between now and when I need to retire. And those things are electric vehicles or technology. So I currently have some money put into clean energy funds. And I truly believe that they'll grow and they'll be kind of the main source of energy by the time I retire. So that's why I put money into them. And that is my risky play. Like, you would think that's like not risky, but the consensus with like people who take the no risk approach is to put all their money into the total stock market anyway. So what I'm doing kind of goes against that, and in a sense is a little risky, but it's something I believe in. I think it will happen, and I don't feel nervous about putting my money into it. I think same thing with like cryptocurrency. If you think that it's going to be like a form of transaction, or if it's going to be widely used in the future, if you have some justification for why you're holding it until you retire, or like 30, 40 years into the future, I think that's perfectly fine. If I like could only see something going up in the next 2, 3, 5, maybe even just 10 years, like that's not something I want to invest in, because I don't want to be selling stuff and realizing the gains and causing a tax event to where I already make a good amount of money. So if I continue to make more money from my trades, that just puts me into a tax bracket where I don't need to be in, right? Like, I can just put my money into like a retirement fund and just have it sit and not realize the gains now, and just realize the gains later on when I'm not working. So like, if say like my stocks make me $40,000 a year, I don't want to make $140,000 a year now, because that extra $40,000 will get heavily taxed. I want to do it in the future when I'm not making as much money, so that I'm not taxed. Well, $40,000, you might not get taxed on that if you're in the retirement age. Don't quote me on that. Like, I have not looked into being 59 and a half or 65, so don't quote me on that, but that's kind of what I've been hearing around, and like, I'll do more research when I get to that age, but I'm not at that age right now. Basically what I'm saying is I don't need to be adding more income now with added effort, because then my effort gets taxed. I'd rather just not think about it and then get my gains in the future, just to keep things easy. Like, I'm lazy. The whole point of this channel is to be lazy. We are just vibing here. I think that's it. This doobie sounded like a rambly video, and maybe I should have written like notes or a script, but I filmed this in 16 minutes, and I should be able to edit and chop this and put this up. And you know what? Perfect is the enemy of progress. That is the motto of this channel. We are not here for like a perfectly cut out Graham Stephan video. We are here shitposting. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you like shitposty and vibey content, please subscribe. Make me feel validated. Thank you very much.